Hi everyone, it's Dollface. Thanks for tuning in. If you're here for the latest anime releases and latest book trends to hit the market, you are in the wrong place. This channel is dedicated to books and anime that have been released in the past year, 2, 5, 10, 15 years. And today's topic, we're going to be discussing Bento. Bento is an anime that was released in 2011, but originally the manga was released in 2008. So today we're going to be talking about that. It's a 12 episode anime, nicely short and sweet. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it before you watch this video. All right, so let's get started. As I mentioned, Bento was created in 2008 as a manga by someone named Asaura, my apologies, by someone named Asaura. No last name given. I found this information off of Wikipedia. I first started watching it at the Baltimore Science Fiction Society. It was a meetup that my brother and I went to, and we got to watch 2 anime for convention style, 4 episodes of Shokugeki no Soma and 4 episodes of Bento. And if you're not familiar with what a bento is I could be mistaken, but from what my understanding is, it's like way better than what we have in America. It's like actual fresh meat and rice and vegetables, and it's cooked in a nice container in a nice tray, and it can have things like octopus, eel, rice, cucumbers, pork cutlets, chicken cutlets, curry, shrimp. It has like all these really delicious meals. So imagine like, a meal that, your mom makes you to go, basically. The anime takes place from the viewpoint of a gentleman, his name is Saito, and he joins the Half Price Savers Club. He joins the Half Price Savers Club. Their goal is every night they go out to certain supermarkets and they fight it out. They fight it out for these half-price bento. Sometimes you go to a supermarket and like the manager or someone on duty puts out like stickers that say like, hey, this is on clearance, or this is half price. There you go to the supermarket and you wait. You wait for the person who they dub the half price god to come out with a roll of stickers, and he'll put the stickers on certain bento that are marked half price at the end of the night. And there's one particular sticker called the Laurel Wreath. It's like basically manager's choice. And then basically you want to get the manager's choice sticker. They're all half price, but the manager's choice is like basically the best one. And then the rules are, here are the rules. You have to wait until the half price god finishes putting the stickers out. Then you have to wait until he leaves. Once the doors close, then you go. Now, as soon as someone puts their hand on a bento, they're off limits. You can't touch them anymore. They've got their bento. So it's not like you have to fight them, they get it, and like fight to the register. No. As soon as they put their hand on it, they're done. You can only take what you came for. So you can't say, oh, I'm gonna get like 4 of them or 5 of them, for like, my buddies or something. No. If they want a bento, they have to come fight for a bento. So those are basically like the rules. Oh, and just have moral, have some integrity. So no eye gouging, no hitting below the belt. I mean, you can pretty much like, do anything up to like, I guess cracking someone's skull, but nothing below the belt, nothing, I wouldn't even say nothing to put someone in the hospital, because there have been many times where the characters, mainly the main character, has been put in the hospital. It's all for the sake of just getting half price bento. That is the hilarious thing about this anime, and it is so deep. You know how anime is. Everything that they do is like, it's so, they take it to like the nth degree. And like, you just think about it and you're just watching these people like fight it out and like punch someone in the face and crush someone in the back, and you're just like, are these people really fighting over food though? These people are really fighting over food. So the opening theme song is called Live for Life, A Night of the Wolves by Aimi, and I really like it. It's really exciting and it gets you moving, it gets you going. I think it's like really thrilling. It reminds me of the Attack on Titan theme songs. You know, those kind of ones that, you know, get you excited to really watch the anime. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of animation. You know, it gets you going. It gets you excited. So I like that on the opening theme song. I also like the fact that in the opening theme song, it changes slightly around maybe episode 6 or 7, or maybe 7 and 8, just to include new characters like the Kyo twins, just little slight things like that. So the theme song for episode 4 changes incredibly when the theme song is centered on the main character's cousin Shaga, and it's completely dedicated to her. It's not about the other characters at all. It's just different. You'd have to watch like episode 4. It's just completely dedicated to Shaga for some odd, weird reason. She's not really that important a character where she would need to have her own theme song. And the theme song, by the way, is Treasure by Emery Kato. And it's just something a little different. I suppose it was okay. But it wasn't really something that was just like, oh, cool, that's nice. It got me confused for a second because I thought I was watching a different anime, or I don't know what was happening, so I didn't really like that transition all that much. Yeah. The ending theme song for the anime, I'm not really feeling it. It was okay. It was sweet. It was slow, but it just wasn't really for me. I don't know. I mean, I really like the opening theme song. Insert song Treasure was okay. The ending theme song is Egao no Hōsoku, or The Rules of Smiling. So if you want to look that up, I'll put that down in the description. I'll put all that stuff down in the description for you to look up later. So the opening theme song, great. The insert song, you know, so-so. The ending theme song, not so much. Yeah, but it's okay. So moving on now, voice acting. Voice acting was really good. When I looked online at Wikipedia, it said that Funimation was the company to license it, but it's probably in the dub, most likely. And I don't like dubs, not all dubs, but I mean, for the most part, I don't like dubs. I don't like dubs at all. I mean, I'm definitely a subs over dubs kind of girl. I've been turned a long time ago. The mid 90s to early 2000s was like when dubs were like at their prime, and then they just kind of just it just took a big nosedive. So ever since then, I've just been a subs over dubs kind of girl. So the subs were really good, and I really enjoy listening to the characters. Their voices match, they complement to one another. So thumbs up on the voice acting. You won't be disappointed. Next up is character design. I'd say like the character design was pretty generic. It wasn't anything really amazing that popped out about it. It had like a very early 2000 feel. It was like just general, nothing too great about it. Sometimes I didn't like how the design was inconsistent. There were times when, for example, the women characters had, for example, the Kill sisters. One of them is kind of flat-chested, and one of them is kind of gifted. and when she's wearing her school uniform, she looks like a B cup, but then when she's wearing her negligee, she's like a D cup. So I'm like, what's up with that? You can't just change a girl's breast size or her cup size depending on what she's wearing. That's very inconsistent. I noticed things like that. However, with the fight scenes, that's when I really liked the character design and the animation. It was fluid, it was strong, it was snappy. I like that. I like the character and the character design. Those are my only quips about that. Next is character development. So the main character, Saito, I think he's a pretty cool guy, pretty laid back. You know, he just gets involved into this world of bento supermarket brawls, and I love how he just like accepts this new way of life, and he kind of just excels at it. You know, he just kind of like is boss. He's like one of the only characters who shows real major development. I mean, for the 12 episode anime, you're not going to have like, you know, everyone showing like, you know, real personal growth and change and development and showing real moral fiber. I mean, he's the main character, so we're going to focus on him. So he's the only one who really showed any real character development, which is really fine. That's cool. It's just that the other characters were quite static. I like how the main character actually gets strong because he learns from his mistakes and he learns from others. I really hate a main character who's just strong for the sake of being strong. That's not a good story to me. That's not a good story to me. I feel like you can relate to someone who works hard and someone you can relate to someone who does their best and even fails. I like failure. That shows, strength. That shows growth. I'm not into the whole shonen anime genre where it's like, we're strong and we're always going to be the best and we're always going to win. That's not appealing. That's not a story. That just means that you're just waiting for the main character to beat the bad guy. When you actually like see someone get beat and get beat repeatedly, and it's not even like when they come back they win in this all-encompassing like battle where it's like I've trained and gotten so much stronger. He just got back into it and he's like, I just do better next time. And it's like yeah, he won, but it's like it was kind of by the skin of his teeth sometimes. But I like that. I like a main character, or I like any character who gets stronger by lessons learned and training, real authentic training. When do we ever see that anymore? Never. That's when. Never. So I like cunning characters when they need to be, but I like hardworking, sweat by the brow characters as well, like ones who really work for it. Another reason why I like the main character is because he takes pride in his accomplishments, and I like it. I don't like it when I watch an anime and I feel though sometimes you have to believe in the main character and you have to believe in the team because they're the best or because we're the good guys. I feel like getting older, I find myself rooting sometimes for the bad guys or rooting for people because of what they do and how they do it rather than just because, well, I'm the main character, so you should root for me. I like Saito and I believe in the all I can't remember the name of the group, the Half Price Savers Club, because it's just really like, we're all about having fun here. I mean, we want to get our hands on some good tasty bento, but we're just trying to like, get some good food, and we just want to it's nothing personal. We just want to have some fun and fight for good food. And Saito believes in that. He believes in his team because not because we're the best, because I'm in league with the Ice Witch, who was trained by the wizard. He likes being there because I like working hard for something, and my hunger drives me to do something that I can feel proud of, and I can feel accomplished for. So that's another reason why I like the show. It's really hard to dislike anyone in the show. You may have your handful of like maybe disappointing characters. It's okay. In any anime, you're not gonna find like a whole bunch of characters that you like. But for the most part, I can't really say that I disliked anyone, but there were, I guess, a bunch of characters who didn't really have an impact on me. I think my least favorite character was Ume. Ume is the character doesn't who has a crush on I don't remember her name. I think her name is Hana, but I like to call her the Fujoshi. I like to call her the Fujoshi because I'm a Fujoshi, and she's my favorite character. But I didn't like Ume because there's no use for her. There was no use for her in the story, and there's no use for her in the show. I just think that she was just used as some kind of funny comic relief. Like, I feel like they believe that an anime is not an anime unless the main character's getting beat up for no reason. And that is just such an overused trope. It is so done. I do not like that trope at all. Like, oh, the main character is a guy. He does something slightly questionable. He's a pervert and he must get beaten up and punished for it. I'm so over that. I am so over that. It is just so annoying. So that's why I didn't really like her character. I didn't feel like she was useful at all. I feel like she didn't add to the story. And I feel like just her infatuation with Hana the Fujoshi was just really for fan service for the men, especially in the episode, definitely episode 9, where she is taking care of Hana, and dressing her, bathing her, feeding her, and it's like, this isn't necessary, this isn't needed. So she's my least favorite. favorite character is, like I said, Hana the Fujoshi. I I really liked watching her actions, both in and out of that character setting. Because when she was a Fujoshi, it's just like I could definitely see myself. I could definitely see myself in her. But out of the setting, when she was like trying to be involved in the Half Price Savers Club, her method of getting a bento, she's not even really an active participant. Her method of getting a bento is basically when everyone else is brawling, she sneaks in and takes one. Like her whole thing is sneak, 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 got it. And then she just bolts. And it's just like, that is so me. I would totally do that. Like, who wouldn't do that? Like, I'm not gonna get my hands dirty. I'm not gonna get my hands dirty. So I was like, that's her way of getting a bento. So I like her character in and out of, like, the Fujoshi setting. So I thought that I would like hate the Kyo sisters because they were just so strong, and they didn't let anyone else really get a bento. And even though it's like survival of the fittest, and if you want one, you gotta fight for it. I just don't like overpowered characters. But then I realized, like, I'm watching more about them, and I find out, oh, okay, they have reasons to, like, why they do what they do, and they're not all that bad people. They want to fight the strongest, and if you're not the strongest, you're gonna get beat down. And a discussion. And so if you are a worthy fighter, then all right, let's do it. Let's fight. And same thing with the Ice Witch. Usually when you see, like, a character that gets beat, they just take it so personal and they take it so to heart. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I lost. I have to train. I have to be the best. How dare they, defeat me? The Ice Witch was just like, I wasn't strong enough and they beat me. I just had to do better next time. And it's like, yes, thank you. Someone who knows they just had to do better next time and just not take it so darn personal. Again, I feel like when you're using one of the main characters who you think you're supposed to, like, be on their side, then it's like whatever their justice is or whatever they believe in, you got to believe in too. So it's like, I feel like when we are met with those kind of characters, then it's like we can't really think for ourselves whether or not we really believe in your sense of justice, rather than have a character admit that they were weak and they were wrong, and it's time for them to do better on their part next time. Again, I love those kind of characters. Now, the storyline is really funny in the beginning, but then it starts to kind of lose traction, honestly, between episodes 5 and 9. And for a 12 episode anime, that's not really a good thing. That's kind of disappointing. You don't want in a 12 episode anime for 4 out of them to just kind of just be a joke. It was kind of sluggish, watching those episodes. I didn't really like them. It started to become less about the fights and it started to become less about the fights and the characters in those fights. So we in the beginning are met with the boar, which is like this huge lady, is huge round Hindenburg balloon of a lady that, like, is, first of all, she doesn't like fight with integrity. Instead of, like, fighting head on with everyone else, she'll like use this shopping cart and just like a boar, just barrel everyone down. Not to mention, she will basically harass the god. She will harass him like, oh, are you done yet? What's going on? What's taking so long? And she'll like take the roll of stickers and be like, here, let me do it. And so you're not supposed to harass the god. You're not supposed to, like, intervene with his, like, half pricing, ritual. And so and then when she's done, she'll take like all the bento. It'd be like 10 bento, and she'll take like all 10 of them. And it's like, dude, are you serious? So that's one character that we had met in the beginning, that we saw her like twice and never saw her again. The wizard, who was like, he's the one who had trained Sen, the Ice Witch, and he was actually the president of the All Savers Club, or the Half Price Club, before he left the school. Goatee, brunette, monk, if you're confused, these are the names of the other wolves. Because when you're a wolf, you get a nickname. These are the people who are also in the beginning who were like teaching him the ropes. The main character, they were teaching him, the morals of the sport, and then they just kind of disappeared after episode like 4 or 5. And I'm just like, what gives? I like, if you're not going to introduce more characters, at least like strengthen the ones you already have. Even though I say strengthen the characters that we already have, it doesn't mean like going to a backstory for these like very insignificant characters. Now, I know I just said that the Fujoshi was my favorite character, but we did have a moment where she, in the beginning, had this kind of weird thing with germs. Like if she touched you accidentally, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to touch you. I'll get that cleaned up for you right away." And it's just like, well, what's her deal? And she's like, well, people don't really like to touch me, and they think that I'm dirty if I touch them, so I make sure I clean people when I touch them. And so I'm just like, so how does this play into the rest of the show? It doesn't. It's just a weird thing that she does until the main character's just like, so why do you do that? And then she explains why, and then she doesn't do it anymore. And it's like, there was like, Saito's not the kind of person to keep people at bay. He's got a very permeable personality. He just kind of lets people go in and out. So she did, and for this to happen, she didn't really need to gain his trust or gain his friendship. It was kind of already there. So there was no need for her to have a reason to share this, or a reason for her to have this kind of, I don't know, this kind of weird thing that she's got. It was just kind of strange to me. I didn't really like it. My favorite episode. Okay, my favorite episode was episode 2. And it was my favorite one because that's when Saito gets his first victory bento. And in episode 1, he just wakes up in the middle of the playground, busted up, bruised, bleeding, and bumpy. And it's just like, how did I get here? And then Sen tells him, don't come back to this. Don't go back to the supermarket. And so fast forward, he still goes back to the supermarket because he's hungry. And then he's just like, oh, cool, half price bento, sweet. And then he reaches for it, and then there's just this white shadow of light just enveloping him, and then he just wakes up again on a bensonware, just half dead. And so like fast forward to season 2, when like the whole sport of it all is explained to him, he's just like, all right, I'm ready for it this time. And he fights, and he gets in there, and he gets his butt whooped, and he gets kicked around, and he's fighting for it, but he gets one. And it's not even like, what happened in season 2, the fact that he worked so hard for it, which is really got me. It was so hilarious. But I was like, really excited for him. I was happy for him. I was genuinely happy for him. My least favorite episode was my least favorite episode were episodes 8 and 9. I do not like when people use the student council to progress the story. It's like, oh no, something's happening in this school. It's the student government's fault. It's the student council's fault. It's lazy. It's so lazy. First of all, we didn't even need it in this show. We didn't need it. They could have just been regular students. They could have just been another pair of girls in the class. And first of all, it's 2 different schools. So it's like, they're not even 2 different warring schools fighting each other. It's literally just 2 girls, the Kyo sisters from the student council, and Ume, the one member of the student council that we always see. And it's like, well, what is the purpose of seeing them in these student council roles? I don't understand. So is a writing tool or writing technique that I learned when I was in college that I think can be applied to like a lot of things, but it's a writing tool called Kill Your Darlings. Basically, when you're so gung-ho for presenting an idea or a thought or some kind of like situation that anything that you just really want to be in your story, but it doesn't add to the plot, it doesn't add to character development, it doesn't add to the progression of anything. It's just there because you want it there. And it's usually something that's like, close to the author, something that just kind of makes you smile. But unless it's something that a lot of people are gonna get, or it's something that a lot of people that's gonna add to your story, or it's gonna come up later, don't put it in there. So for Bento, the student council needed to be killed. It just not killed, but like, it just needed to be X'd out. It makes for lazy writing, and I didn't like it. They didn't need to be there. I say that episodes 1 through 4 were great. 5 through 9 were bogus, and then 9, 10, 11, 12 were great. That's how it is. So it started strong, got a little weak in the middle, and then like ended strong. So okay, I'll give it like, some props for that. In episode 10, the Ice Witch, Sen, fights against Orthros, basically the two girls from the student council. And they are beasts. First of all, they use baskets. Those little shopping baskets that you use in the store, the hand baskets? They use most of their attacks based on those baskets, and it is crazy. Like, first of all, what they do with the baskets is like some kind of weird black hole thing that's like some kind of weird black tornado that just kind of swallows you up and like spits you out. It's like so dynamic. I love it. It was terrifying. Episode 10 was when the Ice Witch was fighting the Kyo sisters and their last finishing move. I don't know if anyone remembers this. Maybe it's just a Baltimore thing. I don't know. But I remember in like years ago in school, like people used to do this thing. And they hold the back of your head and twist real hard. It's called swirls. That's basically what it was. They would like took like her one arm and her bottom leg and twisted it in a different direction, and she was just a bloodied mess on the floor. It was cool. It was awesome. And I know it sounds like, kind of like sickening to say so, but it was the best. And so I was like, yes, two awesome characters that went head to head. And the one we thought was gonna win totally lost, and she put up a good fight. So that was okay. She put up a good fight. That was the beginning of episode 10. And then after that, that's when the fights started happening. The fights. And then I liked the ending. The ending was very satisfactory to me. I think that everyone who deserved a happy ending got their happy ending. All was well in the Bento fighting club. It was all good. So yeah, I would say that I enjoy watching this anime very much, and I'm really glad that I found it. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been a real pleasure sharing Bento with me. If you've seen Bento and hope to watch it, again, it's only a 12-episode anime. You can watch it just like that. When you go and watch it, come back and like tell me in the comments what you liked about it. What was your favorite part, your favorite characters? I want to know. Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Before I log off, I know that you guys are expecting a review for A Discovery of Witches by me. It's coming. It's coming. I promise you guys it's coming. It's a really big book. I mean, I'd show you where I am right now, but I left it at home because I wanted to give my shoulder a chance to heal. It's so heavy, and I'm only on chapter 18. So I promise you, I'm probably going to have another anime review out before I finish reading that book. But I just want to let you know that I haven't forgotten about A Discovery of Witches. It's on its way, as well as your convention, your Supreme Convention outline to-do list package. I'm really detailed, so I really want to make sure that you guys are getting everything from me. So with that, I hope to see you later, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.